If dreams could save the world. Ever since I was a kid, I had a stammer. If I hadn't kept my inner child alive and dreamt big, I would not be standing here today. So here are a few reflective questions that I want you to sink in as we go along. These are questions from my inner child to yours. So with the leading question, who better to see the future than those who will live it, I embarked on a creative daydreaming experiment with 2 NGOs and a school, about, say, 50 daydreamers. My request was simple to these children. 2 steps. 1, draw your dream on India, and 2, write about your dream. I gave them some crayons, some paper to scribble on, and I had 2 rules. I asked adults, caretakers, please leave the room. And secondly, I needed no reward or no kind of incentive to be given away to these children. I wanted them to be self-inspired. So obviously the first reaction you would see from these caretakers was that, Avinash, I don't think you know what you're asking for. These children are too young, they wouldn't know what to do. But at that point, I assertively asked them to leave the room. And then after 2 hours, we saw the artworks. As expected, I saw dreams on quality education. I saw dreams and artworks on health, safety, and the environment. But would you ever expect a young boy, a preteen, to sketch up a dream on gender inequality? Would you expect a 13-year-old Gurdeen to sketch up dreams about gender imbalance? This made me reflect on how these artworks were perhaps a reflection of the inner world or the outer world. So at that point, we went back with goosebumps. My team and I sat. In fact, we didn't have a lot of sleepless nights, at least the first 3-4. But then it gave us an opportunity to really ask ourselves that if we scale this up across India, will we dare to see the future through the eyes of our children? So we started a small, we thought, a project called Project Dream on India, which started around Children's Day 2018 and ended Republic Day 2019. Simple request, as before, I wanted them to dream about India, but in turn, what we got was an awakening. We saw a strong emotional connect with national issues. It was very clear they were listening, experiencing, seeing everything around them without a platform to express themselves. That gave us an opportunity along the way to really ask ourselves, is this the world we want to leave behind for the next generation? Is this the legacy we are creating for the future of our country? They were clearly in touch with their inner voice. Give you a small anecdote about Anjali. She's from a slum area, from the Horse Cars, Delhi area. And we got this NGO who gave us this dream, simple dream we might think, but extremely powerful. She said her uncle used to beat up his wife and his daughter. She wanted it to stop. I got another excerpt from a war zone. A school teacher said, "Hey Avinash, I don't think I can give you these dreams. These aren't dreams." And I went back and I told her, let's not judge our children's expressions. Please send me whatever you have. She came back saying, no, they have blood and they've seen, guns around them and all that. And I said, please send me the dreams. What I saw across these dreams was something very, very powerful. That despite the darkness, there was clear hope. She was rising. They saw themselves as a hero in that journey, as change catalysts who were going to take charge of transformation. They talked about a variety of issues, from justice, equality, to beyond boundaries. They did not see them as a citizen of India alone. They were a global citizen. Even they understood complex issues where they didn't think that it's about nature or technology or animals and humans. It was about everything is interlinked with each other. They understood, interestingly, how the universe works. The last but not the least, we saw different ambitions from Earth to Mars and a variety of surprisingly dreams that could be aligned to the Sustainable Development Goals. Now, interestingly, the cynic in you might say, hey, these are children's dreams. How can you take them seriously? But I would urge you to believe that simplicity and clarity is the key for transformation. Each dream is a story to be experienced. So our challenge was, how do we scale visibility and trigger action in adults, right, through these dreams? So we geotagged. We took the painstaking effort of creating spreadsheets out of the 15,000 dreams we had, linked them to the longitude and latitude of the place of origin, because we wanted to give visibility to these children's dreams. Even now I get threatened when a courier of dreams arrives at my residence. I get threatened that I'll be thrown out of my own house. Then we created some experiential installations like Dream On Studio at Kidzania and then the T2 International Airport in Mumbai. We again took the effort to make sure that adults, change makers, thought leaders as yourselves will be able to make sense of these artworks and letters. So we aligned each of those rays of hope to one or more of the SDG goals, which we call the dream burst. At that point, it was time to appoint a special jury, a global jury of about 50 members, and give them the responsibility to judge these dreams. I was not going to take that, but I did give them two criteria. I told them, look at the alignment with the SDG goals, but also look at some sort of an aesthetic sense. There has to be a social emotional kind of connect. Some direction had to be given. And we ended up with India's first multilingual book of dreams called I Dream, Seeing India Through the Eyes of Her Future. This today, the 7 kg reservoir of expressions today resides in the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Aside from that, around just before the pandemic hit us, luckily we were able to land the book in the right hands. Ranging from the Supreme Court of India, we got endorsements from all the governors of each state and union territory, and the science centers also have a copy of the book. All this through a crowdsourced funding campaign. 5 key insights came out of this entire project. Now, I wouldn't be standing here giving you this little talk if I did not have time to reflect. The first thing which came out was the children had given us clear direction as to how we're going to prioritize action based on the SDG goals. Secondly, there was a clear focus on women's rights and quality education. Thirdly, they didn't want to have climate change. They wanted climate action. They had seen enough inaction around us. And secondly, they wanted to drive innovation with sustainability in mind. Lastly, the key insight from this entire project was that they had to be included in some capacity. The youth, the children had to be included in the business of how our country, our systems are going to be run. So, a few months ago, I had an opportunity to just sit back with my team and understand what have we really learned from this entire project, some key takeaways. So the first thing was leaders across levels, across industries. When you're visualizing transformation, let's move away from the traditional education ways of the 3 R's, reading, writing, arithmetic, to using a synchronous connection between the head, heart, and hand. Feelings, thoughts, and behaviors have to get connected. This is what the children have taught us. Secondly, I had an opportunity to really redefine the definition of a dream. Now, as you might imagine, we all have been born and brought up thinking that dream is some visual imagery, right? But it was very clear that dreams are the universal language of visualizing transformation and innovation. But what is a dream for change when it doesn't trigger hope? It means nothing. Therefore, it was important to really identify those dimensions of a dream that trigger hope. So the first thing we saw that the children were saying, unity in diversity is old school. Today, even unity in diversity can end up in wars. We need humanity in diversity for peace. Secondly, resilience and grit in the face of challenge. That was important. And lastly, finding harmony in chaos. That means the best, I would say, the most innovative or disruptive innovations come from grassroots. Can we really empathize with the people who are going through these problems? The other thing I realized, there's nothing like a bad dream when you're dreaming about visualizing transformation. There's hope all along the way. But there are 3 types of dreams that emerged. First thing was a good dream. That means visual imagery, great imagination about the future. Secondly, a great dream is one that enhances empathy while igniting imagination. And lastly, this is a transformative dream because it not only just excites you, your visualization as well as your ability to empathize, but it synchronizes your head, heart, and hand to make you do something, some trigger of action. So if you ask me in the workplace, in boardrooms, as well as in the classrooms, how do we make these transformative dreams happen? I do a lot of workshops with leaders on vision boards, and I use this process. I tell them, do you have first-hand experience about the problem you're solving? Do you truly feel from your heart what is happening in that environment where the problem exists? Secondly, are you intrinsically motivated, self-inspired to visualize change? Or is it some external reward that you're going for? And thirdly, is psychological safety. I can't stress enough on this, but if I don't have an environment where I can express myself without the fear of judgment, I'm not going to find that sweet spot of transformation. The other question I'm pretty sure all of us have been asked when we were growing up is, what do you want to be when you grow up? I believe that needs to be reframed. It's time to build agency and empower the person who is going to grow up. What do you want India to be when you grow up? That builds agency. That builds responsibility. That makes you really go there and ask yourself, what are the problems I'm passionate about? What do I want to solve in this world? Lastly, along the way, I realized that I had become irrelevant. Today, a platform like Dream On India exists for dreamers around the country to submit their dreams. Dreams have been researched and discussed forever. Life coaches have designed dreaming experiments, activities. We have enough information thanks to the internet. But do we really need any more information on how to dream well and dream big? Or do we need to look inwards? Bring back that long-lost curiosity, that innocence, that humility into the process of dreaming. We live, we die, we sow, we reap, we dream, we achieve. So what's your dream? Thank you.